And as promised, we do have a special guest coming up. Who we got, Rick?
Man, we got the main man, man. What can I say, Mr. Gerald Alston? Man,
Yes.
let him.
Jude, don't we have an intro video?
Hold on before you do that.
Oh, go ahead.
Quiet storm, fly
Uh-oh.
away.
you still on
Yeah,
you still on
Mr.
adult mode.
We'll wait till Mr. Austin come on and sing that thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello.
What's going on, Mr. Austin?
You got it. How's it going?
You the man.
Going great, going great. Thank you so much for taking this time out to come and sit with us on Party Mode Live. We greatly appreciate it. And we consider you to be one of the living legends in music. So this is an honor and a pleasure to have you here with us tonight.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
thank you. Thank you so much.
So
Man.
we're gonna jump right on into this. And actually, Rick, I'm gonna see if do you have a question? Do you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, we're gonna break this. We're gonna break this wide open because I wanna know what was going through his head at the time. Let's
Rick?
just
No? Okay.
kiss and
Oh, okay.
say goodbye. Because back then, when I was coming up, that was house party music with slow dragon. And that jump come on, the women lose their mind. Just to hear that song. So what was going on when that song came out? Well, let's just say goodbye.
Wow. Believe it or not, when we first recorded, the song actually was not complete. I had a scratch vocal. That was a scratch vocal I did. And the backgrounds had parts to finish. And it is set in the can for about 18 months. But what was going through my mind when I recorded that song? It was like I've known of people who have experienced that. I kind of had experienced a little bit of that. And, just thoughts about people falling in love and falling out of love and going through changes.
Exactly. Couldn't say it no better, man. Couldn't say it no better. Justice.
Coming from that genre of music and that era of music, what do you feel that the artists and musicians of today are missing that you guys were able to capture through your music?
What the artists today, a lot of the artists today are missing is that reality. We wrote songs, and even to this day, we write songs that speak about everyday life, um, breaking up, making up, falling in love, cheating, whatever. But it's something that people can identify with. It's really about um, life as it is. When we sing about making love, we don't be graphically expressing it, but we speak about making love in a way that everybody can understand. It's our songs are just songs that you can relate to, you can identify with. You know someone that may have gone through it, or you may have gone through it, you know, etc. But that's what it's all about.
So if there was an artist today that you could write a song for, who would that artist be that you feel is just like you really have a point that you want to get across, but they have the voice that you feel it could speak to the world, but their music is just lacking that. So who would
Wow,
that artist be?
I never thought about that. Wow, you put me on the spot there. Um, hmm, let me see,
Okay, I can let you
because
think about it and we come back to it.
okay, yeah. Let me think about that one for a minute.
Hey, Justin, you
That
hit
one
on
might get
that
me
one,
in
Justin.
trouble.
Uh-oh. Well, see, it's not to say that they're not a great artist. It's just you may have, a point of view that you want them to get across, but using your lyrics. I mean, a lot of songwriters tend to write songs and, they have an idea of who they want to sing that song. So it may be an artist that you feel, oh, you're a powerhouse, but I think that this song right here, if you just let me write one song for you, I feel like you could change the world, or you could grab everybody's attention and just and take off?
You know, the first person I thought about, and he's a great singer. Um, and I love everything. I mean, he's awesome. He's just awesome. But I think that if he did one of the songs that I've written or one of my songs, he would kill it. And that's Anthony Hamilton.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
man.
Anthony.
He's
Yeah,
got it going on.
yeah.
He could sing the phone book. Just open it up and just start singing some numbers out, and it's done.
I would
Oh
have to
God.
agree. I would have to agree. Go ahead, Rick.
Look, back then, you all, y'all was in a, y'all was back then with y'all group. Y'all had major competition back then, and talking about the OJ's, talking about the Four Tops, and the Temptations, and I can just keep going, man. To to keep writing hits like that, I mean, what did it take? What did it really take to keep up with those guys? With those groups.
You know, it we all OJ's Temptations, Stylistics, Shallites, Dales, all of us, we sang uh, the same kind of music,
Hmm.
but we had different views of it. And it was awesome because each one of us could tell a story about falling in love, falling out of love, or cheating, and it'll be a different story, a different feel. So it was like all actually friendly competition.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
I
Go
think
ahead,
that is
Jeff.
definitely something that is lacking in this industry now. Um, I know a lot of the showcases that you guys put on back then. I was having a conversation with my mom about it. I told her, I said, "Guess who we're having on the show today?" Well, I told her a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, "Oh, I can't wait to tune in." And then she went into these long, drawn out stories of, going to go see all these groups when she was younger, and how you could see 20 bands for a quarter or something like that. And I'm like, oh,
It
goodness
was,
gracious.
yes, I remember. I got in, I started singing just as it was changing. I think the first 10 or about 10 years, it would be, we would have shows, be 5 or 6 artists on the show. And like, especially when we played places like the Apollo Theater, the Warner Theater in DC, the Brooklyn Albee Theater in Brooklyn. There were you sang according to the hits. If you were on the show and you had, especially the Apollo, Uptown Theater, if you had 3 hits that were 15 minutes long, that was the time that you were given. If you had, and the headliner will most of the time have 30 minutes. So you would have anywhere, we played the Apollo when they've given us 5 minutes to come out and sing a song. But when we sang that one song, actually we were able to put some songs in a medley, believe it or not,
Mm,
and got over just as well as singing 30 minutes. But that was the way the it worked back then.
hmm.
You would sing just your hits.
Wow, wow.
So, what was it like for you to go from um, the guy who could sing to the lead singer of the Manhattans? What was that transition for you?
Well, it actually it went very smooth because I had a band. I was singing in a band. My band was called Gerald Alston and the New Imperials. And the night that I met the Manhattans, my English teacher, my English professor at college had asked me could they use the system, and I said sure. So when I was testing the system out, they walked in, heard me sing, and I remember Richie saying, "That's a godsend." And then they asked me to open the show, and I said fine. I opened the show. They took my number and they called me, and I fit right into the Manhattans. I watched them for 10 days tour with the Supremes, Gene Terrell and the Supremes. Then I came back to New York and I rehearsed about 3 weeks, and it was like I'd been doing it all the time, um, because I was able to be me, sing the way I felt, um, and it was close to what they were doing.
Wow, that's
You got a
amazing.
question, Rick? Because you know I can keep going.
I know you can keep going. She'll keep going there. Um, now that it's decades later, um, how many people in the group that's not no longer here, and is have some of them passed on, or are all of them still living?
No, actually, I'm the only surviving member. All the guys
Wow,
passed.
Mm.
wow,
And the last three guys, the late Kenneth Kelly, the late Blue Lovett, the late Sonny Bivens, all passed within 60 days of each other.
Oh wow.
wow, wow. That got to be
Ooh.
heavy, man. Man,
That was rough.
yeah. So what are you doing these days and times now? Are you still writing for anybody?
Well, I'm writing basically for our group now. We have a new CD, the Manhattans, The Legacy Continues. The Manhattans featuring Gerald Alston, The Legacy Continue.
Okay.
And I had the pleasure of writing two songs on this CD. I wrote "What About You," and actually three songs. "She's Coming Home," and another song called "Get It Ready."
Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
Cool. Just
And of course, the current single is "What About You."
okay. Cool.
Are any of the songs on this new album considered to be geared towards the movements or the causes that are going on in the world today? Because I know back then you guys sung about, what was happening in the world. So are any of those songs on this album this go around?
Um, Not politically,
Okay.
but you know, basically the same thing. The song we have out now, "What About You," is just basically a love song, and I kind of kept close to that.
So the way that you all sing about love, watching you all perform and then hearing the way that you all sing about love, it to me it's so different than of course it's going to be different than the artists nowadays, but it just like listening to you all just sounds like you said, like it was something you actually lived through, like you've actually been in, like it makes you feel like, yes, this is that feeling. Oh my, this is the euphoria that I have, being in love and everything. So what is it like to actually write those songs? What is that process for you? For anyone that is watching that is aspiring to be a songwriter, what is that process of actually getting that across through the work, through the lyrics, and then getting across vocally?
Well, lyrically, um, songs come to me in different ways. Um, when I wrote "We Never Danced" a love song, I wrote it with Sonny, late Sonny Bivens. We were in England, and he started playing. He was playing his guitar, and he played the intro, and then he said, "Just sing what you feel." And I just started singing. He says, "Songs about disco era," and I started singing. "Come on, baby, let's sit down. We've
Ooh.
been dancing all night long. Come on, baby, get close to me.
Mm,
We
mm,
never
mm.
danced to a love song." It just flowed. And um, he talked about it, about this is doing, it was a disco era. Everything was always up tempo and upbeat. And he said, we wanted to bring it back down. So at the end of the night, there'd be a love song for somebody to dance to. And we talked about it. And those were some of the first lyrics that came to my mind. Um, Sometimes it comes from um, reading something or hearing somebody make a comment in a conversation, different ways. I remember I wrote a song called "Nothing Can Change the Love We Share" on my solo project, and I wrote it flying from New York to North Carolina. I heard this melody in my head, and I started singing it over and over and over again. And when I landed, I called my writing partner, and she had back then she had the voice machine, right?
Hmm.
Message, and she had 3 minutes of tape that you could leave a message. 3 minutes of time. I'm sorry, and I just sang what the whole first verse and the second verse and left it on a voicemail. And when I got back home, she put music to it and finished some of the lyrics to it. It
You
just
know, that's actually
varies.
not far fetched because even though I didn't have to deal with the tape recorder for the voicemail, I would actually call my voicemail before they invented the voice notes on the phone. I would
Right.
call myself when I was writing songs and I would sing it on my voicemail. So that's really funny that you said that.
Yeah. And when Blue and Sonny were the biggest writers in the group out of the four of us. They were the main writers. And Blue would be in the bed and he'd dream about a song and he'd get up, sit at his piano and play it and put and write it down or record it. When he wrote Kiss and Say Goodbye, he called me before the early morning of before we started. Our rehearsal was like maybe 12 o'clock. He called me about 6:30, 7 o'clock. Said, "Listen, I need you to be at the studio at least an hour earlier today because I want to play a song for you." And he came in and he played Kiss and Say Goodbye. He said, "I dreamed about it and had a dream about Kiss and Say Goodbye." And he wrote it. And he came and he played. The first part he played was, "It's gonna hurt me, I can't lie. Maybe you meet another guy. Please, darling, don't you cry. Let's just kiss and say goodbye."
So,
And the rest was history.
There are so many songs that you all did that I didn't realize that I knew.
yes,
I
sir.
grew up old school, so my parents, well, my mom was always playing old school music. So
Yeah.
when it came time for me to do, my research for this interview, I was like, oh, I know that song. Oh, I know this song too. Oh my goodness, I know this song. It was hilarious to me because I just didn't know I knew so many. One or two, I'm usually like, oh, okay, I'm familiar with that. But to sit there and I'm smiling, I'm just like, yes. Oh my goodness, I love this. I love that. So how does it feel for you to be singing, still singing to this day? And still performing to this day. And then let everybody know where you're performing and where they can still catch you.
Okay. It's I've learned over the years. I've always been um, close to God. I always had God in my life. I was always taught. I
Amen.
started out singing gospel, and I realized that everything that I am, everything that I have achieved, it may not, even if it wasn't exactly the way that I wanted it to go, it was God's way, and
Hmm.
I give God all the credit for
Amen.
everything, because without Him, I wouldn't exist. I've been singing 51 years. The Manhattans have been singing 59 years. And so, again, everything that I am, everything that I sing is all about Him because I could not make it without Him. I don't walk on stage without saying a prayer, thanking Him for His grace and mercy and giving me this opportunity one more time. Um, and it's just a blessing. That's where it all comes from. And singing these songs, it's a joy because I know that through my words and my music, my performances, that there are some people, if not everybody, which most of the time is the majority of the audiences, but I bring joy, happiness, and make people have tears of joy, tears of happiness, reminisce of some sad mood, but it
Hmm.
brings them away from whatever they're going through at home at one particular time, some particular time. It's just so many ways that I can explain that to you.
So where are you currently? Are you all are still currently doing shows, correct?
Yes, right now we're doing. We're performing on a love tour that we do every year out west. Last weekend we were at Vegas, in Las Vegas at the Orleans. Um, this weekend we're in San Diego. Then next weekend we're in Phoenix
Mhm.
and San Antonio. And then we're at Yoshi's in on March 12th. And then we got one date that month. In April, April 1st, we're at the Birchmere.
Ooh.
April 2nd, we're doing a private date in Virginia. Um, and April 3rd, we're also working in the Tidewater area. And then April 5th through the 10th, we're in Brazil. And
Ooh.
then we come back, and April 29th through May 2nd, we're doing a Latin Soul Cruise departing from Long Beach. And then we have dates in Baltimore. But the best way you can go to our website is let's just kiss and say goodbye.com.
Ain't
I
that
know
And you
something?
that's
can
right.
follow us and all of our dates. And you can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter.
Wow, that's heavy.
Let's just kiss and say goodbye.com. You can't confuse that with nobody else's
No
That's
website.
sir.
it. That's it.
No sir.
Oh goodness. Okay, so before we let you go, are there any shout outs that you would like to give, any recognition that you would like to give to anyone?
You know, um, first and foremost, I'd like to give honor to God, who's made all of these years possible in my life.
Amen.
And also, I'd like to thank all of my fans, and there are people that get very little credit. You guys that host the podcast, the radio DJs, the people that promote our records, even the people that come in and set the stage so our fans can see us. I just want to shout out to all the people that make us who we are, and most of all, our fans who have really been faithful to us and sticking in there with us. And we're just truly blessed. And also, I'd like to thank Pam. I can never pronounce Pam's last name, Brashad. Pam going to kill me, but Pam know who I'm talking about. And she has been wonderful. She's been in our corner for the longest. And I love her and I thank her so very much. And again, I want to thank you guys for having me on the show.
Man,
Thank you so much for being here. Even though you say it thank you to us, we thank you because there's a lot of places that you could have been, a lot of other shows you could have said, I'm gonna go do this show instead. But you chose to be here with Party Mode Live, and we
That's right.
greatly
yeah.
appreciate you.
I am Gerald Alston, and you are tuned in to the party before the party.
Yes.
Wow.